then shall the Son also himself be subject unto him that put all things under him, that God may be all in all.
So when everything is subdued, Christ will turn over the reins to his Father. He was sent to do his job. So there's no 50-50. So I mean, there's no co-equal. Man, reading is fundamental. But you know, when you don't want to understand the truth, you're going to force yourself not to understand. You know, that's just stupidity, blinded. But the point I want to make, if there's not co-equal with God, what would, well, we understand there's no co-equal with God, right? Is there co-equal with children and parents? So then what would in the world make you think it's co-equal between man and woman? I'm asking. A simple thing like that. Christianity will make you think like that. You're too afraid to make her cry or watch her cry or put her in order and make you like that. You're still in the uterus, bro.
Okay, all praises to the Most High. See, I can understand. I can understand a man separating his characteristics from a woman. The Most High did it, right? The Most High did it. He separated. He made us like this. The woman is the weaker vessel, physically, mentally. She can be just as strong as you mentally. Mentally, her brain can work just as strong and help you. And he wouldn't, the Most High wouldn't call her your helpmate, wouldn't call the woman our helpmate if she wasn't going to be a help. If she's going to be the weak link in her thinking, she would always cause you to fall back, to stumble your growth, stammer your growth, right? So she has to be able to think, brain power, to be a helpmate. But to always point out the fact that she's your weaker vessel and you got power over her and she ain't equal with you, it tells me that there's something happening with your brain, right? Something not right with your ego state. Because when talking about your helpmate and showing love to your helpmate, you shouldn't be adult to child. You shouldn't be putting her in a child's position and you'd be the adult. You shouldn't always trying to take that higher. How you get people to function and operate with you like you want, you bring them on your level. Now, to say we not co-equals, it is always working against you. That's going to be working against you in your relationship. But to edify your wife or your mate, your helpmate, I use that term, not that's the only reason I said your wife, or I'm saying your helpmate. To bring her equal with you, you're going to get a better result. Now, I don't know where these young guys, you might have a white beard, but in your mind, you're thinking like a child. If you think always putting a person down and not edifying them will make them work better with you, then that proves that you are an idiot. You are an idiot. There's no science to that. That's white man pseudoscience. That's slave master science. That proves to me, like I've been teaching, that proves to me that you guys want to gather the Israelites up, starting with your women and wives, to make yourselves kings over us and make us servants of yours. Because not only do you do that with your wives and the women, you try to do that with the elders and the young men, and you You put them in categories or captains and generals and all of that. You know, that's, you know, that only can be done with an equal. You know, that can only be done with an equal. Only a person equal to you will say, okay, I'll follow you. Right? In their right mind. You know, you can't operate in a person who is supposed to be equal with you, like a male to male, and put them in a lower category. That was earthly. This is heavenly we talking about. In order to get men and soldiers to work with you equally in battle, you all have to be kings and priests. You get what I'm saying? Some of y'all, I know these selfish men teaching this type of doctrine. They don't understand life. They don't understand the human brain. They don't understand how to actually gather up people. They're doing the best they can. I put it like that. But to say they've sit down and studied the wisdom to gathering people up and getting everybody to function as one, it's not. You can't get everybody to function as one when you dividing the men, saying, okay, you gonna be a captain, you gonna be this, not men that has been traumatized, you know, not men that's trying to build their self-esteem and get their identity back. You can't stack them up like that. Now that's just common sense, but we do have studies for that. There's nothing wrong with studying, studying the enemy and studying your brothers and sisters, because you can't help them unless you listen to them and study them, So, yeah, my thing is you're not going to get the cooperation to its fullest by always stacking people who's higher than who. I'm greater than you. That's what it seems like these Israelite camps teach. It's like they fear the black woman. It's like she gonna raise up higher than me, and she gonna say something. She gonna steal my thunder. We just hear them Baptists and those preachers say, that's how they keep the ministers in their place and keep everybody honoring them above all the other leaders in the church. Right? Co-leaders. Don't steal the pastor's thunder now. Don't out-teach him. Don't bring out knowledge that he didn't think of yet, right? That's called stealing your thunder. And that's what they appear to be doing when they are constantly telling the woman and showing this hierarchy. Paul said it, yeah. But once you get it, you got it. And if a woman or anybody want to talk, they're not cutting you off. If they're not cutting you off, then they don't need to be chastised. It's called group therapy. So you let them talk. Why? Because the group need to hear what they're thinking in order to help them. It's called group therapy. You don't cut people off. You don't tell your people, hey, y'all just look at our videos. Don't look and listen to nobody else. How can they help the other people? When you're going around saying all the Christians are the 2/3 and damn them and I hate them and they stupid, you're not helping and you're not gathering up the people. And this is not wise. You're not a wise counselor when you do that. You're not a wise counselor to your wife. You're not a wise counselor to your children. You're not a wise counselor to the nation of Israel when you're always trying to cast them in different hierarchies and, higher, lower categories. classify them in their categories of higher and lower. That's Esau's doing. That's the devil's doing, right? The Most High did not intend for that to be like that. If you're operating in the headship, God, Christ, the man, then the woman, that's responsibility to the people. That's your that's denoting your responsibility. So in other words, if something go wrong, it's cause you ain't listening to Christ. If something go wrong under you, that means you ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing right. That's why Christ said that I only do what I hear my Father say. You should be saying I only say what I hear Christ say. The woman should be I only say what I hear my husband say, who follows Christ, who reads from the Bible. The child should be saying, I only say what I hear my Father say. Now, if you have built this ditch between you, this broken the breach, you have broken the bridge, you got a breach between your relationships, and you have traumatized and abused violently. That's violent. To always saying a person, you ain't good as me. That's violent. Whenever you hurt somebody, you committed violence against them. So if you say, hey, you ain't as good as me, that's what you're saying when you say God put me over you, then you shut your mouth and sit down. You have no place with me to stand beside me and help me teach. There's children in the audience, and there's adults in the audience. You're not operating in your adult and parent ego state when you're always treating everybody else like children, right? You're operating in your child ego state from a child. And a disciplined parent, that's not good. To operate as a disciplined parent all the time, you're not balanced out in your thinking. To operate as an adult means you ain't having it means you're in a good state. You're in a good state of mind, put away childish things. But then sometimes you have to learn to play, to not to be a stiff neck. You have to learn how to go back into your child when you're dealing with children. You can't treat them like adults. You have to learn how to age appropriately teach a child. Even people who are operating as children, you have to be able to see what they're, you have to be able to see where their fault is, where they're hung up at. A good teacher always know the material, and he always know where the student is getting hung up at, where they're making their mistake at. And I don't see you guys moving in that area too smoothly. So I just hope, I just hope that we can do better at that. I'm not excluding myself either. But the Most High is training me on this by watching your mistakes. Then I can see where I made my mistakes when I was trying to teach, raise children, help people to be restored, their souls to be restored, and move it into their proper ego states so they can make adult decisions when they've been living their life off the decisions that they made when they were children, when they were not properly informed of everything. We were all little children when we were sleeping in slavery. When we wake up, then we're waking up and still functioning on the decisions we made when we were in slavery. Yeah, when we were bowing down to idols. When we were looking at these devils as our mentors. So you can't be harsh on your wife because she's the first your first representation. Nobody's gonna listen to you if your wife is out of order. And if you are out of order and treating her to where you have conflict between the two of you, you're not treating her as an adult, and an adult. You gotta treat her like she's an adult, not a child, for her to function as an adult. Because if not, you treat her as a child and have her fighting you, then both of y'all are in your child ego's mental state. So you got to get that together, guys. All praises to the Most High.